Just a little different.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Joel Brown, and this is another episode of Chamber Zone, your business community working for you. Today we have an exciting guest here. I'm excited to announce that Josh Harbison is here from the Trees for Charity event that we'll be holding here shortly. Josh, how are you?
Good, Joel. How are you?
Doing great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit today about this year's Trees for Charity. Give us a little bit of background on Trees for Charity.
So Trees for Charity started in 1997 in somebody's garage. They raised about $3,000. Thinking back on it, I wonder, and I think, were they excited about that? Was that a good year? Or would they hope that they would have done a little better? But $3,000, I think, for a first year, to me, that's fantastic.
That's awesome. So that's really good.
Looking back, they've kept a scrapbook since 2000, and in that scrapbook, you can see that every year it's grown a little bit. From a couple of trees that first year to 5 or 6 the following. Pretty soon they moved into the old Ashton building, and they did the Trees for Charity there. And as it's grown, they moved to the Western Park, which is where the event's been housed the last few years.
Right. Well, that's exciting. That's really exciting. So how do we get involved? How do we get the community involved in it, Josh?
Our community is amazing, and they've gotten involved a little bit at a time. And every year we have new bidders come, and some of our old standby bidders are there, and they just make it happen. I don't know many communities that could put an event on like this, and do what Trees for Charity does.
It's really an amazing event.
In a community our size.
Yeah.
I look at Salt Lake that does Festival of Trees, and it's a huge city, and their proceeds all go to one charity, and they do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But I don't know that if their community was downsized, I think per capita we'd probably do just as well or better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how did you personally get involved in Trees for Charity?
So about 6 or 7 years ago, I had an uncle who was diagnosed with cancer, and somebody in our community, and I still don't know who, donated a tree in behalf of his family, and it raised a lot of money for them at a time that they desperately needed it. And I said then that I would get involved and I would give back to Trees for Charity because it did so much good for my family. And looking back, I even think I'll never let it go, because now it's something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, it's part of you now. Mm-hmm. That's really neat. So you really don't know who donated that tree?
I don't know who donated the tree. Mm-hmm. I know who bought the tree.
Right.
And I've been able to go back and look and see who did that, and the people that came together and raised that money for his family. But I kind of wonder if the people who bought the tree were the same ones who donated it, but we don't know.
Right.
But yeah, at a time that they really needed the help.
Wow, that's neat. And that's the great thing about Trees for Charity, is the fact that there's people out there willing to not only decorate the tree, but to actually go out and bid on those trees on behalf of their charity of choice. What a great experience.
We've always said on the Trees for Charity level, we have people come to us and say, how do we make sure our tree raises money? And we told them, you've got to get out in the community and tell your story of your charity and what you're passionate about.
Right.
So.
Well, that's neat. Tell us a little bit about last year. How did they do last year on the Trees for Charity?
Last year was a record-breaking year. Cheryl Meyer was our Trees for Charity chairman. She did a great job. It was actually her 3rd year as the chairman. And she's got a lot of energy and a lot of excitement about trees, and it's been fun. It was really fun to work with her. And it's been fun this year to be able to call her and say, hey, help me, because she did such a great job. But they raised over $262,000 for charity in Vernal. We had 40 trees. We were, again, over at the Western Park, and if anybody came to dinner that night, they know it was packed. We had 400 seats in the Western Park with our trees, and it was a big event. It was a lot of people there, and we had a new auctioneer last year. Mason Duncan came and auctioneered for us.
That's great.
He did a great job, and he'll actually be back to auctioneer for us again this year.
That's what I've heard. By popular demand, Mason will be back to do the auctioning this year too. That's great.
Yeah, he's relocated to Texas, but it's kind of a bug you catch. He was passionate enough about Trees for Charity that when we approached him, he said, well, I've moved, but I'll come back just to do that event. So
Wow.
we're really excited to have him coming back.
That's great. That's a really great opportunity to have him. And Cheryl Meyer, if any of you know Cheryl, she's a firecracker, great lady, and just took the bull by the horns and did an incredible job for us. Tell us a little bit about the community. How does the...
So, you know, we, as a Trees for Charity committee, we're constantly looking for people out in the community that are passionate about this. And so a lot of my committee comes from people in the community who have decorated a tree or donated a tree or bought a tree, and they kind of catch that drive and that vision. But, you know, I look at this community and in a time when we know things are hard and we know things are tough, this community's always rallied and helped these people.
Yeah.
So
That's the great thing about Vernal and the Uinta Basin in general, is how generous people are of giving their time and their energy and talents and money in helping with these good causes. Coming back, we're going to take a short break, but coming back, we'll talk a little bit more with Josh about Trees for Charity. Don't keep tuned in. Thank you.
Almost 45% of the oil produced in Utah, 7.8 million barrels, comes from Duchesne County. That oil feeds our state economy, provides job growth, and supports local business. Here in Duchesne County, we're working to make Utah an economic, cultural, and technological leader. Whether you're here for business or pleasure, Duchesne County will welcome you with open arms and invite you to explore all the beauty of the Uinta Mountains. Duchesne County, close enough for business, far enough to get away.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Brown, and this is the Chamber Zone. I'm here with Josh Harbison, and we're talking about Trees for Charity. Josh, how are things going?
things are going great. We're excited for a great year this year.
How are we looking for 2015?
So we're, as a committee, we're very much on track. We've been meeting since July to get things going, and we're hopeful to have a great year. You know, 2015, there's some changes coming, but I think overall we're excited.
Well, that's great. That's great. So tell us a little bit about the changes. What changes do we have for 2015 versus the previous years that we've had, Josh?
Definitely. Probably our biggest change, Joel, is we're going to move across the street from the Western Park over to the new conference center. I don't know if you've probably been in the building
Yeah, I have.
with
It's
the Energy Summit
magnificent.
and things.
Great event.
But I was able to tour the building and get a feel for how Trees is going to work in that building, and I couldn't be more excited about it. The space that we're going to be able to have, the things that we're going to be able to utilize this year, that the Western Park has always done a great job and housed our event very well, but I'm excited to be working with Dirk and Tracy and getting things rolling in the new conference center. So
Yeah, this will be outstanding. And Dirk and Tracy always do a great job of putting it on, and it's just exciting to have a new venue here at the new conference center in the Uinta Basin.
So that's probably our biggest change this year. A couple other things, and these are things that more for people's information than anything I'd like to make sure we talk about. The silent auction this year, the last couple of years we've closed that Saturday afternoon. We're going to move that back now that space is no longer an issue, which was kind of why we did what we did on the silent auction. We're going to go back to a Monday night close on the silent auction, so that those who come to the live event on Monday night have a chance to bid on those silent auction items.
And tell us a little bit about the silent auction items. What are some of the things that have been donated in the past for the auction?
So silent auctions we'll see everything from a painting to a wreath to a centerpiece. Last year there was a bucket of board games that was donated. They kind of run the gamut of things that get donated for that silent auction. But you know, there's some great causes out there, and where we're limiting trees to one tree per charity, which is something we've done the last couple of years, it's an opportunity to raise a little bit more money for those charities, because they can have a tree and a couple of silent auction items.
Right.
And so it gives, and you know, not all of us can go out and buy a tree for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, but we can go spend maybe a couple hundred and raise a little bit more for these charities by buying a silent auction item.
Oh, that's great. Great to have both things there. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about the dates that we have involved in the Trees for Charity.
So a couple of big dates coming up. Our tickets are on sale now. They're available down at the chamber. They're $25 for a dinner ticket. Our next big day will be Wednesday, November 25th is the day that we'll set up trees. And if you haven't been down to Trees for Charity, the day of tree setup, come down and just take a look. It's a chance to really get to see the people who are involved, those people who have the heart to donate a tree, and they're there and they put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into these trees. And it's incredible to be down there and get a feel for that and get a feel for their spirit of generosity.
Yeah.
So
the public actually can come down the day before.
It's a little chaotic. But if somebody wanted to just come down and take a minute, definitely.
Oh, that's
definitely
great.
There's an opportunity there. So most people want to wait and come down when the trees are decorated, and they have their chance to vote on their favorite tree, and we'll still be doing that this year. We'll still have People's Choice and Children's Choice, and so you obviously can't vote until they're all done. So if you want to vote, make sure you come down Friday or Saturday.
So when is the tree view going to be?
So tree view is the Friday and Saturday following Thanksgiving, so November 27th and 28th.
Okay.
We're open the 27th from 11 to 8, and then on the 28th from 11 to 6. So, then we'll have our auction, which will be Monday, November 30th. Our doors will open that day at 5. The dinner will be served at 6, and then we'll get the auction started just as quick as we can once dinner's been served. So
that'll be
we're really
great.
going to get the ball rolling this year.
Oh, that'll be super. So that's great. We got a lot of good events going. What other events do we have taking place during that weekend? I know it's a real busy.
That's definitely a busy weekend. I know over in the north foyer of the new conference center, they're going to be running an art exhibit. And so that's something, if you're in the building, you really should get down and check that out, because I'm sure there'll be lots of local artists involved in that. I know there's a trade show going on at the conference center and at Western Park that weekend. And then there's the holidays and Santa's Workshop and all of the events going on that weekend. So it's a busy weekend. Make sure Trees for Charity's always been a part of a lot of people's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
We hope it'll continue to be.
Well, that's great. We have all these events going on this time of year, and it's just a real special time to be here in the Uinta Basin, particularly Vernal, and participate in these events. It's just great to see the community rally the way it's done. We've kind of gone through a downturn, a little bit blip in the economy with the oil industry down a little bit, but it's great to see the community and its individuals and the families pull together, as well as businesses pull together and help out in the community.
Yeah, it's always incredible to see, and we live in such a generous, amazing community.
Yeah,
so.
I'm really proud to be a resident of Vernal, Utah, and to see the community come together the way it has. Thank you for joining us. This is another episode of Chamber Zone. I've had Josh Harbison here talking about Trees for Charity and the other events going on here in the Uinta Basin. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Chamber.